Welcome to A Teaspoon of Healing, where we explore the pathways to wellness and vibrant living. Listen to personal stories of healing and interviews with experts. It's time to open a doorway to healing in your life through positive changes. Here is your host, Dawn Damari.
Hi, I'm Dawn Damari. This is another episode of A Teaspoon of Healing. Today's topic is meditation. My guest, Michel Pascal, is a Buddhist monk and was trained in a monastery in Tibet. And he now teaches meditation for daily stress. And he also helps parolees in Los Angeles and New York. And they have a very high re-entry rate into crime. And his meditation techniques have actually reversed that. And it also has helped with suicide rates.
Hi, this is Goff, owner of Goff Tours, specializing in stand-up paddleboarding or surfing lessons. I even do snorkeling. You can reach me here. Orange County has what you're looking for. You can contact me via email at gofftours@gmail.com or mobile number is 949-338-5937, gofftours.com.
Hi, I'm Dawn Damari, and you're listening to another episode of A Teaspoon of Healing. Today, my guest is Michel Pascal. He is a meditation teacher, singer, writer, and a film director.
Hello. Good to hear you. Good to be with you.
Great to be with you too. And so, Michel, we were messaging back and forth. So you have a revolutionary approach to meditation to help people release daily stress. And I talk about daily stress a lot on this podcast. So what is it that you do that can help people?
It is, many people say to me in America, it's very revolutionary, but when we live in a monastery, and it was my life, I come from a monastic life, it's not revolutionary, I will say it's more authentic. But when we come from an authentic monastic life to America, of course, we see that the meditations that we do usually in America, the concept that we have about meditation, it's exactly the opposite of the concept that we have in a monastic life. So I come from a very strict lineage in Buddhism. I come from Nyingma tradition, the oldest school in Buddhism. So one of the main difference between those approach of meditation, it's in America, for example, we say, I need to meditate, so I need to calm my mind in a quiet place. I go on the beach, in a yoga room. In an authentic approach of meditation, we do exactly the opposite. We train our mind in the difficulty. Because we know that we don't progress spiritually when it's easy. We progress spiritually when it's difficult. So if you calm your mind on a beach, in a quiet place, it's beautiful. But when you go back to your daily life, when you go back to the workplace, to the traffic, to the money problem, love problem, when we go back to the real life, we know in some studies in neuroscience, you lose more than 80% of the benefit of the calm. Because the brain has received the opposite information. The brain has received the neurochemical information. There is a place, quiet, I will be quiet. And there is a place, I will be stressed when I go back to my stress. So this is one of the first main difference. So I develop a new approach of meditation, especially in the daily stressful situation. For example, I live in New York and I organize every week retreat in Times Square. We don't make retreat in the nature or in a yoga room to detox, I don't know. No, we train our mind to calm the mind in the daily stressful situation. Not outside of the stress, but inside the stress. Because if you are able to calm our mind in Times Square, you can be quiet anywhere. So the concept of meditation, again, we say revolutionary. Many journalists say to me it's revolutionary. I will not say that. I will say it's just more authentic. The second difference, we know in a monastic life, there is not a time to meditate and a time to work. There is not a time to meditate and a time to do many things. Every second, it's a meditation. Because what means meditation in Tibetan etymology? It doesn't mean at all the concept that we have, you must be sitting down in a lotus position, take a deep breath. Not at all. It doesn't mean that in Tibetan etymology. It means exactly, I train my mind in my daily life. So it means I use any situation of my life to quiet my mind. To quiet my mind. I use any person that I met. I use any situation in the traffic. I use any problem to train my mind. Peace, it's like oxygen, anytime, anywhere. So this authentic approach of meditation saved 80% of the prisoners in Los Angeles at Amity Foundation.
Yes, and what is the Amity Foundation?
Amity Foundation, it's probably the biggest foundation in California for the prisoners, for the rehabilitation of the prisoners. So there is a data amazing that you must know. In California, 80% of parolees, they return to jail. 80%. They kill again, they return to jail after 3 months.
That's incredible. That's really sad. That's really sad.
But we have a good news, Dawn. In Los Angeles, at Amity Foundation, where we develop this meditation program, 80% of parolees, they never return to jail.
Wow. With this program?
Never.
Really?
Of course. They find a job, they rebuild a family. Because again, when we calm the mind of the person, especially in the daily stressful situation, the person feel better. You know, with Deepak Chopra and Gabriella Wright, Deepak and Gabriella are my family, my karmic family. Together, we are associates. And we have created a world movement for suicide prevention.
I love that.
Probably, as you know, suicide is the second cause of death in America from 10 years old. From 10 years old.
Yes, and it's now the second cause of death in America from 10 years old.
The second common cause of death in America, this is a suicide from 10 years old.
And stress contributes a lot to this. Is this correct?
No, it's deeper than that. It's because suicide comes from depression. Depression comes from stress. So at Amity Foundation, you can imagine prisoner, the level of the stress that they have, the level of PTSD, ADHD, trauma, suicide tendency. So as Deepak say all the time, he say, Michel, if we can save 80% of the prisoners, we can save the world. So again, how it works, it means that again, when we calm the mind, there is no stress, there is no addiction, there is no depression, there is no suicide. We need to calm the mind in the middle of the stress, in the middle of the real life, not far from the real life. It's so easy to calm our mind in Santa Monica, facing the ocean, and to have the fantasy to imitate a monk. You know, it's funny that my monastery, Kopan Monastery, it's in Nepal, was open every Saturday morning to the public. And many American people were very interested and they came in Himalayas to visit the monastery. After 2 minutes, they were so surprised because they say to my friend monks, you are never in a lotus position to say, Aum. My friends, they said, never. We never do that. Never. Never. No?
Really?
Never. So it's a cliche. It's a cliche that we have in America, but it's not the authenticity. Because again, the authenticity of the etymology of meditation, it's exactly the opposite of the perception that we have in America. In America, we say I need to be in a lotus position, in a quiet place, to breathe, etc. It's not at all the meaning of meditation. For me, it's a sort of relaxation, but it's not meditation. It's not. Meditate means I train my mind in my daily life. It's not I am sitting down in a lotus position, not at all. I use any situation. My meditation is to be with you, Dan, this morning.
So how can people learn how to do this? You talk about it a lot, and you've written a lot of books, and you have a movie coming out about it, correct?
You can go on my website, michelpascal.tv. You can go on my YouTube channel, Michel Pascal. I have published 20 books. You can read the last book, for example. And there is the film that we prepare with Deepak Chopra and Gabriella Wright about the suicide. It's a film that I direct based on true stories. And it's the first time that Deepak Chopra accepts to be in a film, in a fiction. And Gabriella Wright, she's an incredible actress and also meditation teacher, humanitarian. You can see the trailer of the film.
And it's called I Am Never Alone?
Yes, exactly.
And so in the film itself, does it describe the technique of meditation that you've learned?
No, the film teaches a story because, again, if we talk about meditation, it's not a technique.
Okay, you're right, like you were mentioning. But a lot of us, we do see it as a technique. I'm in a meditation group and it's all about sitting and how to sit. And I really like what you're bringing up, that it's something you can do all the time.
I don't know, but just I share with you what is the etymology of meditation, and I share with you what is a monastic life in authentic lineage. So I'm so sorry, we never do that.
No, I love it. It goes against everything that we're taught.
No, we never do that. And it is the reason why I will say as a joke, for me, it's not meditation, it's blablatation. It's a blabla. I mean, it's not efficient. It's a beautiful blablatation. But I say a blabla, it's not a critique. Blabla means something, you blabla, so it's not efficient. It's not efficient. When we see that we save 80% of the prisoners in LA who has the highest level of PTSD and suicide, as Deepak said, it's not a blabla, it's a data. It's a data. It's a result. So it comes because in America, we were educated with a cliche, a sort of fantasy, but not the authenticity of the meditation. Not the authenticity. So I have the chance to come from a lineage very strict. I have tried to adapt what we name the nectar in Buddhism, the authenticity, combined to the last discoveries in neuroscience to our world. And it's very interesting that we talk today because yesterday the Army, US Army, asked me to develop the program for the soldiers.
Wonderful.
In San Diego. Because as you know, the level of the suicide for the soldiers, for the VA, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yes. Well, that's wonderful. So the US Army, they're going to work with you. You're going to develop this program for the veterans.
Yes, and I teach this program for students. As you know, students in university at 60-70%, they have suicide tendency. You know that. So the level of the suicide in America, as Deepak Chopra says, this is the biggest taboo. The biggest taboo. And the question is, what can we do for the suicide? We realize that we must be humble because all the approaches that we have don't really work. It's not because if you talk about your suffering that you resolve your suffering. When we say the prevention is to talk, of course we need to talk. But as we know, the more we talk, the more we trigger the mental picture of the suffering. For example, if you have a trauma, the more you talk about your trauma, the more you active the mental picture of your trauma. So we take another way. We calm the mind. And again, when we calm the mind, we reduce immediately the cortisol, the hormone of the stress, and we upgrade immediately serotonin, dopamine, the hormone of the well-being, and immediately the person feels better. For me, to calm the mind, And especially in the daily stressful situation, this is the only way. This is the only way.
Wonderful. So you also have an app, the Mind Dive app.
Yes, I have a free app. It's important because when I came from my monastery to America, I was very surprised to see that people must pay to have well-being or mental health, because millions of people in America have no money. They are in a huge money disaster situation. So I say with Deepak and Gabriella, we need to create a free cost app. It's totally free. Everyone can download the app in 1 second.
It's called Mind Dive. And what do people get when they download the Mind Dive app?
On Mind Dive app, you have a lot of practices that I have recorded. And there is a menu with many keywords. If you have fears, anxiety, if you cannot sleep well, there are many, many possibilities. You click on the menu and immediately a practice comes to you in the cell phone. It's the same if I give you a private session. You have the private session in your hand. And Deepak gives a lot of teaching also. And Michael Beckwith also gives a lot of teaching in this app.
So people can just go to the App Store and download the Mind Dive app. And your books, are they available on Amazon, I'm assuming?
Yes, of course, on Amazon. My last book is Meditation for Daily Stress. This is exactly what we do. If you want, we need teachers, because I have too much demands every day in California, in New York City also. I start to develop the program in New York with a correctional system for the prisoners in Brooklyn. And we have too much demands, so I need a lot of teachers certified on this way of meditation. So if you want to be teacher, you can go on my website, and there is a program that you can follow to become teacher in a few months, in 6 months, something like that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's actually really interesting. I'm going to look into that. So I've been looking to develop my skills in that way. So other people who want to be certified in does it have a specific name of your program?
Just you go on my website, michelpascal.tv. On the website, there is a section, Become a Teacher, and you have all the details. Most of the classes are online. There is some little classes that we give personally, but 80% it's videos online to become teacher. Not to become teacher in the usual meditation approach that we have everywhere in America, but to become certified in this approach, very, very different than what we found in America. And based on the strict, authentic Buddhist lineage from the monastic life.
I love that. So yes, people go to Michel Pascal, and it's MichelPascal.tv.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this today. I know you mentioned you have a meeting coming up.
It's okay. I teach every day. My schedule is busy, not me. Me, I am not busy. I am wake up since 2 a.m. I take flight tonight to go to New York. I am not tired. I am not busy.
I love it. We should all look into this. And I love what you're doing for the parolees from the prisons. And I'm excited to hear about the movie and what you're going to be doing with the military veterans. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. You are so welcome in any session, Dawn, from all my heart.
Oh, thank you. I will definitely look into it. And thank you again for being on this podcast today.
It's an honor to be with you, and congratulations for what you do.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Your podcast is very important. Maybe it can save the life of someone. Every action, it's like 1 million action in our spiritual war. We are in a spiritual war. So your podcast, it's so beautiful. Congratulations for what you do, Dawn.
Thank you so much, Michel. And congratulations to you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Dawn. All my prayer to you and your family.
Susan, you remember the time we were in Orange County? We were driving around and we got lost, and we ran into this place called
Avila's El Ranchito.
You remember the place? The place had awesome decor and authentic margaritas.
Did you know that Avila's El Ranchito has been around since 1966? They have 13 locations throughout Orange County. Visit Salvador Avila's location in Lake Forest and Foothill Ranch for great food, ambiance, and specialty margaritas.
Thank you for listening to this episode of A Teaspoon of Healing. If you have any questions for me or for Michel, email me, dawn@teaspoonofhealing.com. You can also visit my Instagram @teaspoonofhealing. And if you are not a current subscriber to this podcast, wherever you get your podcast, please subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Bye.
Thank you for listening to A Teaspoon of Healing with Dawn Damari, your home for wellness and vibrant living. For more resources on wellness and vibrant living, visit us online at teaspoonofhealing.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please consult a physician or other health professional before undertaking changes in lifestyle or wellness habits. The author claims no responsibility to any person or entity for any liability, loss, or damage caused or alleged to be caused directly or indirectly as a result of use, application, or interpretation of the information presented herein.